Okay, we're going to look at matrix operations today. So what are operations? Regular operations that we know are like multiply, divide, add, subtract. Okay, so we don't really do division in matrix multiplication. In fact, we'll do something similar to that tomorrow. Okay, so how do I add and subtract a matrix? So if I call this matrix A and matrix B, so A plus B would go ahead. What we would do is we just add our entries. So 1, 1 plus 1, 1 is going to be -1 plus 1. Entry 2 is going to be 2 plus 3. This entry plus this one, so 0 plus 1. And lastly, this one, and that one. So we get 1 plus 2. So that gives me a new matrix of 0 plus 5 minus 1 and 3. Okay, I don't put the plus there. So 0, 5, -1, and 3. Okay, the next one, we go ahead and subtract our matrices. So C, if I have matrix C minus matrix D, what would this look like? This is going to be the same thing. We're just going to add or subtract the same entry. So this is entry 1, 1. So I have 1 minus -1. Okay, entry 2, 1 in each is going to be -3 minus 3. And then lastly, -2 minus 2. So when I add those together, I get 2, -6, and -4. Okay, what do we need to be able to add matrices? Well, let's look at this one. Let's go ahead and add matrix, call this Q and T. So what I notice is that this matrix is a 3 by 1 matrix, and this one is a 1 by 3 matrix. This is undefined. We can't add them because the matrices must be the same dimension. To add or subtract. Okay, that's matrix addition and subtraction. All right, so let's look at multiplication. So first off, we need to look at the dimensions of our matrices. So I can see rows by columns. So I have 2 rows by 3 columns for the first matrix, and the second one is going to be 3 rows by 3 columns. So what I need to do is, in order to multiply these together, the middle dimensions have to be the same. So these must be equal. Okay? And the outer dimensions, 2 by 3, is the dimension of the new matrix. Okay? So since these are the same, I can go ahead and multiply, and I'm going to end up with a 2 by 3 matrix. So this is the product matrix. So I'm going to set this up at 2 by 3, something like that. So I'm going to call this matrix A times matrix B to give me matrix C. So matrix 1 will be, matrix C will be if I look at the entries, this is C11, C row 1, column 2, C row 1, column 3, C row 2, column 1, row 2, column 2, row 2, column 3. So what we're going to do is, in order to get this number right here, I have to multiply row 1 by column 1. So row 1 from A by column 1 from B. So row 1 by column 1. And we add those together. So I will show you what that looks like. We have C11 is going to be, I'm going to take my 1, multiply it by the first entry of column 1. Then we're going to take our 0 and multiply it by our 1. So we're going to add 0 times 1 plus 3 times negative 1. So I get negative 2 plus 0 plus negative 3, giving me negative 5. So negative 5, okay, so negative 5 is the first entry of my new matrix. So we're going to do it again. Here we go. For C1, 2. So this time I'm going to take a look at, since the 1 is first, I'm going to start with row 1. The 2 represents column 2. So I'm going to go 1 times 4 plus 0 times 0 plus 3 times 0, which gives me 4. So the next entry, C12, is 4. Okay, next is, we're going to look at C13, so row 1, column 3. Okay, so C13 is equal to 1 times 2 plus 0 times 0 plus 3 times negative 1, giving me 2 minus 3, which is negative 1. Halfway there. I know you're excited. C21. All right, so we're going to move to a different column this time. So we're going to go, different row. Row 2, column 1. So this is equal to 2 times negative 2 plus negative 1 times 1 plus negative 1 times negative 2. So negative 4 minus 1 plus 2 gives me negative 3. Negative 3. Almost there. All right, C22. So this time we're going to move to this column. So column 2, row 2, column 2. So 2 times 4, and then it looks like everything is times 0. So negative 1 times 0 plus negative 2 times 0 gives me 8. Right? Yes, gives me 8. Okay, the next one, last one. All right, C23. Let me go ahead and move this. So we get 2 times 2 plus negative 1 times 0 plus negative 2 times negative 1. It's a mess, sorry. So 2 times 2 is 4 plus 0 plus 2 gives me 6. And that would be my new matrix here. Woo! Okay, so what do we need to be able to multiply matrices? We need the inner dimensions to be the same. Okay, so can I multiply these matrices? What dimensions are the first and the second? Okay, this is a 3 rows by how many columns? By 4 columns. Okay, column, rows by columns. Okay, rows, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. by 3. So yes, we can multiply these matrices together. Okay? What we end up with is, these are the same, yay. What we end up is a 3 by 3 matrix. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Misjudged. Okay, so 9 entries. This is a lot of work. I'd probably do this in my calculator. Okay, that's it.